Okay, I think that should have given everybody time to connect. So thank you all today for joining us for our webinar presentation of how to extend your Mitel offering with our newest solution called DEM. First of all, I think what we'll do is we'll get to some quick introductions. So my name is Kieran Coates. I am the person responsible for partnerships in North America for Martello. Joining me on the call today is Ben Tucker, who's the partner manager responsible specifically for Mitel and the MPA product. And some of you may recognize this face is Dave Spence, who's now our director of sales engineering for North America. And he is responsible for our new DEM suite of products as well. Also on the call and be helping us with some Q&A is our Vice President of Product, Rob Doucette. So a quick agenda for today. As we jump into this, we're going to give you a quick overview of MPA, just a roadmap. We're not going to do a demo. Most of you here know what MPA is. So we'll give you a quick overview of the roadmap, some exciting new features that are coming out this year. Then we'll jump into a couple of slides, I promise. There's about 8 or 9 slides that we're going to show you around the combined solution. And then Dave Spence will take us a walkthrough and a demo of the actual DEM product and show you how we tie it all together. So if you have any questions if you have any questions during the presentation, feel free to add them into the chat. We will address them as we get to the end of the presentation, so you'll have lots of time to talk. We've got about 15 minutes at the end for questions should you have them. So I think what we'll do now is we'll just show a quick poll as we get Ben Tucker online here and get him set up to present. So if you wouldn't mind jumping into the poll, just let us know here what the answer is to this question. And with that being said, Ben, I think we will hand it over to you.
Great, thanks, Kieran. I still see the poll up on my side.
Okay, we'll be taking that down.
Going here. So just going to start with a roadmap for the rest of the calendar year and a little bit beyond. And then at the end, afterwards, I'll have some housekeeping type info. So here's the roadmap for 2021. So next up on the docket, we've got 3.2. What I think are the significant pieces of it, especially for the folks on the call today, is really keeping pace with the latest and greatest releases from Mitel. So staying with their business continuity for the latest release of MyCloudFlex and also the MyVoice business subscription offering. That'll come with a few new quality of life type feature improvements, like the configuration wizard and backups. Also keeping up with the changeover to the call recorder, to the Mitel interaction recorder. And one of the big pieces, especially for onboarding and keeping customers using MPA, is the probe on MSL Blade on the Blade store. There's obviously a bunch of other minor pieces in there. Those are kind of the big pieces we're looking at for 3.2. Further out, 3.3 and next steps, these are more general things that aren't quite defined. If you guys have any questions specifically about these, we're definitely happy to hear it, to get feedback. A lot of features from MPA over time have come from your feedback. Easiest one to explain would be voice quality reporting. When it came out, we didn't have worst performing handsets, worst performing devices, subnets. All those came in from feedback, probably from most of the people on the call today. So I'll leave that up on the screen for just a little bit longer so you guys can get a quick stock on what's coming. And so after that, I'll take it over to talk about our partner enablement kit. So most of you have already signed up for our partner enablement kit, or have been given lab or internal licenses for your system, basically the successor to the partner enablement kit. But just for anyone here on the call that doesn't have it, this will get you is the best place to get started for using MPA. It's a very simple form. Really, all it is, the main part about it is to give us your location so we can spin up the server in the right spot, so that if you're in EMEA, we don't put you in a NA server or vice versa. This will really just allow for first timers to have the multi-tenanted version of MPA and allow you to monitor. Your first customer will be yourselves. You'll be able to stick any of your customers on there, whether they're coming in from Premium Software Assurance or any other Mitel program. Also on that, and it'll be included with the Enablement Kit, just if you are looking for any kind of documentation on MPA, there's really two main options. There's the Mitel Doc Center for any technical documentation on MPA, Probe Quick Start Guide, and popular items like that. And then Mitel Info Channel for any kind of sales, marketing, collateral. The latest demo video, slide decks if you're presenting to customers or internally, and how to order and demo videos as well on there. With that, I'll hand it back to you, Kieran, and I'll be monitoring the chat if there are any questions.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ben. I know that this has been a really popular program from us. I know that we haven't been great at getting the word out, but trust me when we say this NFR license for your MPA will really save your life and change your world if you're monitoring for Mitel boxes. So that being said, we're going to switch tracks a little bit and talk about our newest offering, specifically centered around Microsoft Office 365 monitoring. As you know, from your experience with Martello, we've been in the monitoring business for about 10 years now. And in those 10 years, we've seen the landscape shift in IT from traditional, on-premise solutions to more cloud-based solutions. Even Mitel are doing it themselves with their transition over to Flex. But in that change over the last year, we've seen as the pandemic hit, everybody being forced to find ways to work from home and take our offices out and extend it past our traditional office buildings. This was great, but that shift in that dynamic over the last year has created a new problem, as we all know, is, from our perspective, is how do we understand what the user experience is now that our network edge has moved away from our offices and really extended out to the homes of our users? And as an MSP, how can you get a better understanding into the service issues with our cloud applications? How does your user experience those different pathways into the cloud? Microsoft, for example, will tell you that their liability for any of this service uptime ends right at the edge of their cloud. You as an MSP, your responsibility lies at the edge of your customer's cloud. But there's a big gap in between where there's no real monitoring. We have no real visibility into what happens as our traffic gets and makes its way to the cloud. And this is what we've tried to uncover, is what is that user experiencing as they make that transition into a SaaS-based application. So as part of our mission to capture away the user experiences when working with cloud applications, we built the DEM platform that you're going to see today. But how do we manage the multiple applications and are providing multiple alerts, multiple alarms, but none of these are providing a correlation of the data and unifying it under one view? So our DEM platform allows you to measure that end-to-end service delivery. We call it an XLA, or an experience level agreement. And if you're unsure what that means, have a look on our website. We've got a great white paper in there that talks exactly around what XLA is and some great Gartner and Forrester references on there as well. So today we realized that the MSP has a lot to contend with. Skill sets are constantly having to evolve. New software comes on the market. Customer demands increase. Our budgets and margins are shrinking in the MSP world, and a market that seems overcrowded, right? How do you compete? How do you differentiate? You could put better service models in there, sure, that definitely helps, and faster resolution times certainly helps. But how do you cut the bottom line? How can you be more efficient? Can you ensure your SLAs are met, and does your customer have visibility into those SLAs? And how can you be more proactive? Just take a breath there for a second. So what we see in this is the rise of multiple tools from an MSP, right? And a skill set that constantly evolves, as I mentioned. very reactive to the problems that you're seeing with your platforms right now. You're relying on SaaS vendors to notify you of outages in their time, and sometimes that's too late. You know, we struggle with the new work from home movement as an MSP, and customers' demand for high reliability of our UC and collaborative services are really putting pressure on our IT staff. So our Martello digital experience monitoring solution, as we started to explore this world and we've been building this and acquiring pieces of the puzzle, you'll start to see today our real user monitoring, how we can do end-to-end user monitoring. Our active network path monitoring will show you where the problems lie, from all the way from the end user desktop to the cloud service that they're using. We'll show you how we can do hybrid monitoring and SLA monitoring, so your customers can actually view dashboards on their SLA that they have with the MSP. We'll show you how to find root cause analysis and tie it all back into the Microsoft 365 solution, and then tying it back into Mitel Performance Analytics. So I hear you now. You're all sitting there thinking, yeah, this is great, Kieran, but what do we get out of this? What's in it for me here? Well, you know, we can improve your reliability for cloud services for your customers, giving them that visibility that they so badly need. We're going to reduce your service bottlenecks, and we're going to give you cloud-based custom SLAs and XLAs that you can share with your customers. You'll be able to tie in new tiers of service, end-to-end service performance, white glove servicing, advanced consulting around how they can make and optimize their network. We'll reduce your MTTR and your management expenses and take the stress off of your IT staff. And then finally, we're going to help you improve customer retention and all the rest of that. Why does your customer really care? Well, before, they never really had visibility into where the problem was. As soon as a user had an outage issue, you as the MSP would get a call. Might not be your problem, but you're the next person in that lane, in that chain. Now, what we can do is actually have you guys show that customer that indeed it's not your problem. It might be your upstream ISP. It might even be Microsoft themselves. But now we have a visual way to represent that and to make sure that we can meet those SLAs that you have with your customers. Your MSP can be more proactive and better with their SLAs. Obviously, the downtime is reduced for both the customer and the MSP, and the customer gets better at clarity into where that problem is. We're going to show you at the end of it how we're going to tie it all together. All right, this single pane of glass that we've been talking about right now, you know, is all built around our IQ product. Our IQ pulls all of that data into one, almost like a data aggregator tool, and helps us understand all of the different disparate data sets that we're using out there, such as ServiceNow and Salesforce, and all the different types of, you know, ITSM products. We're going to show you how to tie all of that together in one nice platform with one single view, including MPA. So the offerings that we're seeing in the market, we have some early adopter MSPs that have helped us kind of build this program out, and some of the value propositions we've asked them of, you know, what have you done in this market with this offering, and how can we help our customers? So they've been really good in helping us understand a lot more of the offering and the packages that we can help you guys bundle to make you more distinct in the market, to differentiate your offerings. So with these kinds of 4 things that we can see here, you know, there's lots of options here and lots of white space for you guys to grow into an existing customer base that you already have to solve a problem that we know that they're already experiencing, which is, you know, how do we manage our Microsoft Office solution along with our MPA solutions. So this DEM solution, Martello will be behind you every step of the way. We'll help you deploy. We'll help you train your staff and your sales teams. And we'll develop best practices with you on how to deploy and manage your customers. We're going to be constantly evolving the platform, bringing in new pieces of monitoring and monitoring solutions. And we're looking for help from you guys to help us understand where do we need to go next. We're going to enable our cloud robots for all your customers. What you guys will do is provide that white glove service to your customers. You'll wrap our products and our solutions around the services that you can provide, and you'll expand into your Mitel customer base with a new product offering. So all of that to say, you know, very quickly, I didn't want to, you know, kill you with PowerPoint presentation, but all that to say, you know, as we start to evolve, given our 10 years of experience in monitoring, and as we start to evolve and really kind of expand past our Mitel offering, we're starting to incorporate other solution sets and other cloud applications that we know there's a gap in the monitoring piece for. So you'll see us evolve this product and this platform. You'll see it shift and take different forms. And with the help of our network of customers and partners, we'll build this into the first cast monitoring solution that we know it can be. So with that being said, I know Dave's getting ready for his demo here. Most of you do know Dave Spence. We're going to flash a second poll here while Dave is getting ready. And if you wouldn't mind filling that in very quickly, that will really help us. And then finally, once this flashes down, Dave, I think I'm going to hand it over to you, sir.
Thanks, Kieran. Hopefully you guys can hear me. I'm just going to go ahead. Can you guys hear me?
Yep, we got you.
All right.
So I'm going to send this back over to you. You got it. Perfect.
All right. How's my screen look?
I got you.
Perfect. Okay, so let's take a look at some of these solutions that Kieran, so eloquently described. And everybody on the call should be familiar with the way we deploy MPA using a probe architecture. And the probes go out to the different locations. You can actually have them in your data centers. But what we wanted to do in the Microsoft space is something very similar. And so what you're looking at here is a product that Martello has for monitoring Microsoft 365. We know that most of, the majority of the Mitel partners that are out there, you guys, you're taking on the new services that, as Kieran talked about, including offering things like Teams to sit alongside the Mitel solutions that your customers know and love. So what we wanted to do is build a solution that's very similar. This is a SaaS-based offering that will allow you to monitor or to provide a monitoring service for Microsoft. As Kieran mentioned, Microsoft's only going to be responsible for what's in Azure, and you as the service provider are responsible for your customers' experiences. And so you're going to hear terms like XLA and some of the other terms around what are the users experiencing with the Microsoft services. And so if you take this demonstration, what I've got is we have probes, or what we call robots, and we deploy robots into the different locations where users are accessing the Microsoft workloads, whether it be Exchange, whether it be OneDrive, whether it be Teams. Those robots, and again, in this example, you can see I have them spread around the globe in our different offices that Martello has, basically all over the world. And those robots are doing what we call in the industry synthetic transactions. What's a synthetic transaction? Well, a synthetic transaction are the actual day-to-day mouse clicks that a user would perform or do during the course of their day while they're using Microsoft applications. So if you take Exchange, for example, the robots, and again, they're doing this every 5 minutes, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And this is going to give you insights into the performance of the applications, not just when people are in the office, but again, all around the clock. So the first thing the robots do is they will do they'll do an authentication with Active Directory, make sure that that is working properly. It reports back on all of these different transactions in milliseconds, and we will set thresholds that will notify you when and if one of these transactions starts to fall outside of the acceptable amount of time that you've set up for that customer. So this, as Kieran mentioned, is an extremely proactive way to bring those insights on Microsoft into this, what we call our real-time dashboard. And so you can see in this example, I've got some unhealthy applications. So right now, Exchange is complaining. I can come up here and click on View Details. It's going to tell me where the issue is, and I can see that the issue is in Bangalore, and that I have an authentication issue. It's starting to slow down. Again, a lot of times these things self-heal, but it is nice to be able to have that information at your fingertips in case a call comes in from Bangalore into my help desk. I can be ready and have information available for that user to let them know when that issue might be resolved. If you look at OneDrive, again, very simple transactions. We're logging in, we are uploading a file and downloading a file, but those can be bogged down, and you can experience a degraded service. And again, that's a call into the help desk that you're going to need to address. So we've provided some synthetic transactions from the different locations and report back on the amount of time it takes for those transactions to complete. In this example, I've got an issue. I can see I've got a few issues here. I've got another issue coming out of Bangalore. And so this is going to, lead me down the path that maybe I need to reach out to my networking guys in Bangalore and have them take a look at, potentially what could be causing these issues with the Microsoft workloads. This real-time dashboard operates in 1, 4, and up to 24 hours, correlating that data and again, providing it in a very easy to consume dashboard. We also will provide alerts. So we have a Teams integration. I can show you here what it looks like when an alert comes in. I can see that I've been notified by Gizmo that I have an Exchange Online issue, and I can again, I don't need to be in front of my computer. That's going to come out to my mobile device. It's going to come, potentially into ServiceNow. We have an integration where we can actually auto-generate tickets when and if there's a problem reported from Gizmo. A couple of the other, there's a little bit more granularity. So again, if you really want to dive down into, the performance of Exchange specifically, again, we have each one of those workloads represented in what we call a dashboard, and those dashboards are listed on the left-hand side of the screen. You can see we monitor all the different workloads, and we also do a couple of little extra bonuses, which are things like mail routing. So a lot of times you'll have people complaining about, the performance of your internal and external mails. Our robots will, report back on any latency or any delay that is being injected on those hops from the user's computer to Azure and back again. Again, something that is very helpful for help desks when people call in and say, look, my email is completely slowed down. Well, we're going to be able to show you exactly where those where that delay has been injected. One of the key functions of Gizmo as well is not just the visibility from the end user perspective, from where those robots are performing those transactions, but for the having the ability to take information right from Azure and right from Microsoft. Typically, to get the information you're seeing in this screen, you would have to log into the Microsoft portal using your credentials and find the information that Microsoft is reporting on the health of their solution. So we're actually accessing the APIs from Microsoft and pulling that information into Gizmo so that you have it in a single place. You don't have to leave Gizmo. We'll use the same alerting mechanisms to notify you when and if Microsoft is reporting a problem. In this example, I can see that Exchange Online, Microsoft is telling me that there's an issue there. There's an advisory message around extended recovery. And again, information that you can use to translate or to send out to users when and if Microsoft is reporting a problem. This screen is extremely helpful as well from some of our customers that we've got feedback from some of the latest major Microsoft outages, where our customers that were using Gizmo through this Microsoft Service Health dashboard actually were notified before Microsoft. I mean, typically Microsoft will send out, on social media to let you know when there's a major outage. But our customers reported back to us that they were notified in some instances 30 to 40 minutes before Microsoft reported the outage. And so you can just imagine in your world, in your day-to-day, what that would mean in order, being able to be proactive and reach out to your customers to let them know that it's not a problem with their MSP, it's not a problem with their network, it's a Microsoft problem. And, you will notify them when Microsoft has resolved that issue. I've left Teams for the end because, again, Teams is where we're getting most of the feedback around the ability to be proactive and to report back on things like voice quality. And so what we've done is very similar to what we're doing with MPA, is assigning what's called a MOS score. Our robots are making calls from the Windows operating system into Azure, and again, applying what we call a MOS score. And a MOS score is a mean opinion score, 5 being the best. Anything that drops below about 4 will typically mean that a user isn't going to have a bad experience. They're going to call the help desk and they're going to open a ticket because they've had a poor Teams experience. So what we've done is, again, our robots are making those calls, and they're going to give you a snapshot into the quality of the calls that are coming out of the different locations. And in this example, you can see I have an issue in Paris. I have my robots are reporting back that we have a very low mean opinion score, meaning that people in the Paris location are going to have a poor Teams experience. I can see now that just based on the information I'm getting from those robots, that it's a packet loss issue. And so that's information I can provide to my network team to have them start to investigate why I've got this major packet loss issue in my Paris location. So that's kind of the very high level overview of the beginning of what Kieran mentioned as our digital experiencing monitoring solution to give you insights into Microsoft and the performance of Microsoft for your customers. The idea being here is that after the 24-hour window is up, we don't discard the information. We actually keep it in our cloud in a database, and we allow you to mine that information outside of the 24-hour window, going back 60, 90, 120 days to give you exportable and data that you can use to either attack or defend any kind of SLAs that you might have with your customers. How has the Teams experience been? So I can, particularly pick on Teams. I can go back, drill down by location. Again, maybe that issue in Paris, do I want to know if that's an issue just today, or I want to know if that's been an issue that's been going on for a couple of months? And so once this loads up, you'll be able to see my Paris location. And again, not just a 24-hour window, but a 60-day window, or again, going back, we can actually now go back up to an entire year. And so wouldn't that be great to have that kind of information to present to your customers to show them how well the service that they're paying for, that you're providing, has been performing? And I can see in this example that my Paris location has been in a bad way for it looks like at least 60 days. I've got a round trip issue that's been going on at least for that 60-day period that I spoke about. And so that's the sort of the entrance into DEM, which is the Microsoft experience. But we also have another based on that same architecture with probes being deployed, is a product that we have that we're introducing in the next quarter or two. And again, I'll let Rob address that if there's any questions around dates. But this is a product that we have that's called Network Path Visualization. And this is building on the whole probe architecture. And this really helps with people who are working from home. It doesn't have to be people working from home, but we have a very lightweight probe that we can deploy on a Windows desktop that provides, again, those similar types of transactions and reporting back on a pass-fail type of test. And so in this example, I can see, again, this is a demo environment that we have set up. I have a bunch of failed tests. And if I expand on my list, you can see I've got all the different users. Again, if you have people that are problematic, who are constantly complaining about their experience with Teams, you can deploy one of these probes on their machine literally in a matter of minutes. And then what I can do is I can click on one of these tests. Again, I think the tests run every 15 minutes. And what you're going to see here is really helpful to the partners that we've been speaking to. This eliminates what we call the blame game, or the finger pointing that happens in your world every day. Customers are complaining. We don't know where the issue is. Maybe Gizmo, the product we just looked at, maybe it's telling you that you have an issue, but where is that issue? And so what we can do with those probes is they are mapping and giving you a very nice visual of every hop that traffic is taking. In this example, we're looking at Sam. Sam's having problems. But the beautiful thing about this network path visualization is I can come over and click on this toggle to show organizations. And now you are going to have the power to be able to actually show where those problems are being injected. In this example, I can see that Sam has a few failed tests, and I can see the actual device where that problem. I've come over here to where it says view path details, and I can see from Sam's house that I have a major amount of jitter that's being injected at this 80.10.235. I can also know, looking at over on the left-hand side, all of the different network segments that might be affecting Sam's experience. And so we talked about the finger pointing. Wouldn't it be nice to know whether it's your internet provider or whether it's your local network where those problems are occurring? And that's what we're seeing with this tool. As I said, it's a really nice overlay on top of what we're doing with the Microsoft monitoring. This is all about again, the Teams experience, very specific to Teams, because as I mentioned, Teams is a real-time communication tool that is not very tolerant of things like jitter, packet loss, and slow round trip times. And so we see this as a very nice complement to, like we mentioned, our digital experiencing monitoring solution. We're currently in trials right now, so if anybody's interested in getting on board and taking this product for a test drive, just reach out to myself, and I think you can hit us up on our website, and we'll get some information out to you to help you deploy this. Again, completely SaaS based. All that we need to deploy at the locations are those probes that will again start making those tests and reporting back the information that you need. So that's the second part of our DEM story, and I'm going to jump into the third and final part, which is what Kieran talked about, which is the ability for us to give you a one-time, one-stop shop dashboard for all of your monitoring solutions, and as well as giving you an unbelievable way to manage any SLAs that you have with your customers. So this is the consolidation tool that we call IQ. Again, very well established in the market. This is a dashboarding tool. Again, the ability for you to come in and create all kinds of different integrations. So I think a picture's worth 1,000 words, and what I'm going to show you are all the different integrations. So, take from a managed service provider, from a reseller's perspective, how many monitoring tools do you currently have? There's literally thousands in the market. And so what we did with IQ is we wanted to give a single pane of glass to be able to ingest all of the alerts and alarms that you're getting from all of these different types of applications. People are using SolarWinds, they're using PRTG, they're using Mitel, they're using Office 365, they're using Azure. All of these applications are noisy, and they're all going to be providing you with alerts. Some of them are actionable, some of them don't mean anything. And so that's what IQ does. It allows you it gives you visibility into the alerts that matter to you and that matter to your business. So once I create an integration, again, it's very simple. If I wanted to integrate with a PRTG solution, I would simply just put in some credentials and away I go. That information starts being ingested into IQ, and it allows me to then correlate that information. So if I go back to my main screen here, which is my business services, I've created a bunch of business services with information from all those different integrations. So if I look at Canada, for example, I can see that Canada is in a bit of a bad space. Maybe I want to know what's going on in Canada. I can see now that I've got different applications that are I've correlated with the end user experience. So right now I can see that my end users are not being affected by this problem. Great, that means that maybe I can take a breath. I don't need to jump on the problem maybe as quickly as I would if it was actually end user impacting. I can see I have an issue with some of the infrastructure information that I'm getting. I can click on my infrastructure box. I can see that I have a problem with one of my Cisco switches. Oh, okay, well, what's the problem with my Cisco switch? Okay, well, the information's coming in from PRTG. I've got all of the raw properties about that alert and that alarm, and it allows me to action it. And then from here, I can actually jump right into PRTG to make the changes, or again, acknowledge that that problem that has come in from that device. I've correlated that information as an infrastructure. And again, it isn't trickling down to my end users, but that's not necessarily telling me that my end users are completely healthy. I can click on here. I can see all of my end users. I've got them built out into the different locations that I have, but I can see that I've got some issues with my end users. And this is sort of the last piece of our digital experiencing monitoring story that Kieran talked about, is what we call remote user monitoring. This has been feedback we've been getting, is that everybody's working from home now, everybody's using Teams, and what's happening with their experience. Every call you make in Teams, the artifacts from that call are stored. And so what we're doing is we're using the APIs from the from the Microsoft Call Quality Detail that's in Azure, and we're bringing in information on those calls. And so I can see that, you've got all the different users here. I've got an issue with Christian. He had a bad call. I can come in here, and again, we can notify you. That's the one thing you're not going to get with this functionality in Microsoft, is there's no way to notify you when there's an actual problem. So I can be notified that Christian was having an issue with Teams. I can come in, I can look at the details. I can see his internet provider. I can see the operating system that he was running on his machine. I can see the headset that he was using. He was using a Logitech wireless headset. And so when Christian calls the help desk to report this problem, I'm armed with information that can help me work with Christian to make his experience better. Maybe he needs to stand closer to his base station. Maybe he needs to get off his Wi-Fi because all of his kids are on, surfing Netflix. And so, we try to tie this up with a really nice bow to give you, not only the ability to send and create synthetic transactions using our robots, giving you the active network path, to eliminate that blame game, and then at the user level, allow you to alert you to your VIPs, the customers who are the most important to you, and alert when they come across a problem, and give you some insights into fixing that problem. The last piece we talked about was SLA, and again, IQ does a fantastic job of giving you the ability to show potentially what your SLAs are looking like with your customers. So I can come in here, and for my users in Canada, I can see, we've had 618 hours of uptime, but my SLA is at about 83%. Why is it 83%? Well, I can then see below, or I can click on any one of these red boxes, and it's going to tell me exactly what it was that caused that SLA to drop. So in this example, it's going back to that problem I have with my Cisco device. Maybe I need to replace that device because it is negatively impacting the ability for me to provide a very good service, and to have that information to share with my customers and say, look, we've been having an issue with the Cisco device, but on the other hand, it wasn't impacting the end users, meaning it wasn't even something that you needed to address with your customers. So I'll leave it at that, and again, full digital experience suite. Just going back to what Kieran was speaking about. I know that was a lot to take in about 20 minutes, but again, if you're interested in a free Gizmo trial, we are offering what we call proof of value, where you can come to our website, fill in some information, and we'll stand you up with an instance of Gizmo, as well as the network path visualization that we talked about, and IQ with remote user monitoring. So again, Martello, when you think of Martello, think about not just Mitel MPA anymore. We're fully engaged in all aspects of the digital experiencing monitoring story. And with that, I will pass it back to Mr. Coates.
Awesome job, Dave. Thank you. I got to tell you though, that network path visualization tool has been life-changing for a lot of the MSPs I've been talking to. So giving that visibility into the end user experience, as you said, is just massive. So we've got lots of use cases, lots of white papers, lots of critical pieces of stuff that you can find on our website. So do a search around. Our marketing team have done a fantastic job of getting a lot of information up there. As we start to look at more and more of these examples and more of these solutions, we've built our partner program out, which incidentally our brand new partner program launches on June 1st to a formal partner program. So we're looking forward to having a lot of you on this call join us as part of this program, and so you'll start to see more information around that at the end. What's going to happen next? We're going to send you an email after this, obviously with some more collateral and some more detail. There's also an opportunity for you to sign up, as we said, for a free PEK kit for MPA, and also for free trials and demos of our solutions. But if you want a deeper dive into this, reach out to any one of us on this call today, or go to our website and fill it out, and we will get back to you immediately with your own environment. We'll walk you through some demos, and we'll talk through some scenarios of how we can help you and your end customers. So with that being said, I think we've got about 15 minutes left, so a little bit more than 15 minutes left. So I'm not sure, I haven't been monitoring the chat. Mr. Doucette, have we got any questions over the last 45 minutes?
Yeah, we've got a couple questions here. Let me just throw them out here. So the first question I have here is around the next release of Mitel Performance Analytics. When can we expect the next release to come out?
Yep. So 3.2 is beta in the summer. So no hard date, but it'll go through the normal internal field trials and external field trials with Mitel. So mid to end summer would be my when it'll start, 3.2 will start to roll out.
Great. Another MPA question here. What do you do for a partner that's managing multiple MPA instances? How can we help a partner that's dealing with that?
I think I'll take that one. So we do, Rob, I think our IQ product will allow you to manage multiple instances. So we can get you down to the container level. I think Dave showed that last screen that Dave was sharing there as our IQ product. You saw the integrations, you saw MPA in there. We certainly integrate down to the container level into IQ, and we can certainly see all the alerts and everything else from those containers.
Yeah, great. And just to add to that, all the data can be aggregated in IQ, and Dave showed the drill down into Cisco, into PRTG for that Cisco problem. That same drill down actions available for MPA. So regardless of where your instance might be, IQ can take you to the right spot for that particular container or customer. Got one more here. I think Dave covered this a little bit with the demo, but in general, Microsoft outages is something that is a potential constant threat. How does Martello help with these unplanned outages so your team isn't left scrambling? I think I can take this one, although I think Dave covered a bit of this in the demo with respect to Microsoft, typically tweeting about availability issues, and Martello, through the use of these synthetic transactions and robots, are often able to tell customers 30, 40 minutes in advance of Microsoft letting you know, which I think as Dave articulated well, a lot can happen in that 30 or 40 minutes, right? A lot of tickets can get graded, a lot of angry customers, a lot of phone calls ending up in your lap, and that 30 or 40 minute window can be pretty meaningful if you can, at minimum, proactively get in front of this and notify your customers that, hey, there's a Microsoft outage happening at the moment. Hold off on the support tickets for a little bit. We'll update you when things are back up and running. And the value of that Gizmo robot, proactively detecting the problem, also happens on the other side of that curve in terms of, well, when is the problem fixed, right? Are my users supposed to sit there and just keep hitting refresh or keep trying to send emails until something works? Well, the Gizmo robot is going to continue on that 5-minute interval trying to execute all those user actions that Dave mentioned. And as soon as that service is available, you'll see that reflected within Gizmo. So that's all the questions. Maybe we can just give a minute or two to see if anybody else wants to throw any last minute questions in the chat window here. Otherwise, I think we're
okay.
One other one that just came in, Rob. Is Gizmo just being offered from Martello?
Yes. So, MPA, as we know, everybody on the call here is bundled in with SWA, but this DEM solution is completely outside of SWA, where Martello are selling it direct through our own partner network. And obviously, as a partner of Mitel, this is why we're here. We see the value here for both sides of that fence.
Actually, Kieran, we have a couple of minutes. Why don't you talk about our exciting partner program that's going to be launching for our DEM solution coming up next month? I know you're very excited about it. So
I am. We've been working very hard in the background, to Dave's point. So our partner program does launch June 1st. We're very excited. The first rollout of this program is going to be for the MSP market, very specifically designed for the MSPs. We will be moving into VAR and referrals as well, but in a traditional model. But our partner program, as we said, you'll get an NFR license. You'll get training from some fantastic trainers here at Martello on the sales side. You'll get training for your sales engineers from Dave, who heads up our sales engineering team, and obviously any support we can give you as we start to stand up our new partner program. We will be there for. We have partner success managers to help you with onboarding your customers. It's just a very robust program built with, everybody on the team here has years of experience building these programs. So I think we're really excited to see how this is going to evolve. I'm pretty sure we're going to get slammed on June 1st with signups for this program. So if you want to beat the rush, hit me up now. We got 2 weeks ahead of time. I'm going to be more than happy to facilitate the people that joined us today on this call. So I think that's it. Any other questions, Dave or Bob or Ben? Any questions in the chat? No?
I don't see anything else coming in.
All right. Well, with that being said, we will release these people. We'll give them about 12, 15 minutes back. Thank you all for joining us today. Thank you all, Ben, Dave, Rob, and Clementine especially, for putting this all together for us. We look forward to hearing from you all. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to any one of us. Have a good day.
Thanks, everybody.
Everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everyone.